Hello, hello. All you beautiful, gorgeous, stunning,
Stunning.
magnificent, incredible people that listen to this podcast. This is episode 39 of the Love Letters to Broadway podcast, the podcast that gives you Broadway tips, Broadway tricks, Broadway advice, the podcast where we talk about our adventures as two besties navigating the Broadway scene. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Skylar, and that was the sweetest little intro. So
Thank
sweet.
you. Thank you. Listen, it's 39. We gotta spice it up a little. We gotta be,
Pizzazz.
listen, a little pizzazz. We gotta be a little sweet, a little sassy. As y'all could tell, we're a little loopy today.
Yeah, a lot loopy.
Very loopy.
Very
Um,
loopy.
so we have a good episode for you guys. Today, of course, like always, we're gonna start with our hyperfixations. Then we're gonna get into Broadway news, which we have quite a few this week, including a couple scandals possibly going on. And
Candles.
Scandalocious. And then at the very end, we are going to be doing our Broadway review of the week, which is a review of John Proctor is the Villain, which is the latest new play on Broadway. Everybody's talking about it. We finally saw it this week on Tuesday, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
And we have thoughts. I don't know. I mean, you'll hear what we have to say, but in our eyes, we thought maybe it was a little more hyped up than we expected. So, listen to the end to hear our thoughts on that and hear that beautiful review. But first off, let's get started with our hyperfixations, like always.
Yeah. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Would you
Yeah,
like
I
to go
think,
first?
yeah, I was gonna say, I think before we get into like everything, just remember that like this is our opinion, this is how we
Yeah.
feel, and theater is open for discussion. So like obviously if you have a different opinion, we'd love to hear it, but we'll get to it later. So back to
Yes.
hyperfixations. Do
Okay.
you want me to go first?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Um, so again, like I've been really just hyperfixating on like two shows, which is very like me. Um, Two shows and a Tiny Desk YouTube video. So at
Tom
three,
Francis. Tom
li
Francis.
literally the Tiny Desk version of Sunset Boulevard.
Hmm.
Like, what?
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 Like, insane. That was like, we were like blessed on like a random Monday, I think it was. Just
Mhm.
blessed. Tom Francis' voice is just like insane. And it was funny because he was like, this is the first time he stood still singing the song. So he's like, I'm gonna try so hard not to start randomly walking because he's so used to walking.
Mhm.
Um, but his voice is just like I think he was one of the best casting for that show.
Oh, by far.
Like it's one of the best shows. I mean, we haven't seen any other well, we
Well,
saw
no, we saw
Diego.
Diego, who was also
He was
fantastic. He
great.
had he was more naive than Tom
Yeah.
in
But
the
like
role.
older, like other, oh my God, I hope you can't hear the pipes going. But like pew,
Hmm.
ooh, okay. Like cray cray. Um like we haven't seen like older versions of Sunset Boulevard, but like to me, like I feel like even in like 20 years, he's gonna be like my version of Joe because he's just like
Mhm.
actually insane. If you
I
haven't listened to
agree.
that, definitely go. They did the perfect year, and then Nicole did with one look, and as if we never said goodbye.
And
And
we did post a clip of Sunset Boulevard, his performance on our TikTok. So
yeah,
go tune into
because
that.
we've been like obsessed over this. That's my number three. Go listen to it. Go see Sunset. You have till July, what, like 13th?
I think so.
Um,
I'm so upset that that is closing. Like I don't think I'm ever gonna fully get over that.
I'm in denial. Like it's not gonna hit me until like July 12th. I'm like, nah, that's not
What's the
happening.
official closing date? I want to double check. Continue while I look this up.
Yeah, I feel like it's July 13th for some reason. Because I remember it's on someone's birthday, and that's why I remembered.
July
Um,
13th, you're correct.
I was right. Wow. Okay, so yeah, obsessed. Again, go on YouTube, Tiny Desk. At number two, obviously. I'm in a Hadestown hyperfixation. We just saw it last night. We'll be talking about it next week because we're like still unwell, and that's why we're very loopy today.
Mhm.
But I'm very stuck in Hadestown, and I feel like I have been for like the past 2 months. Um, but the songs kind of change. At two, I have all I've ever known. I just personally love the part where Eurydice goes up and goes, "Say that you'll hold me forever, say that the wind won't change on us," whatever. And then Orpheus comes behind her. I don't know, I feel like it's such like a beautiful moment in the show where you kind of understand the love story between them and the naivety of them. And this poor girl had nothing, and all she wants is a safe place to kind of land. And she's looking for it through Orpheus. And Orpheus will do anything for her, to make her feel that safety. So I just am really addicted to that part, especially. Um, so yeah.
Mm, great song.
Again, I listened to the West End version. I love Donald Finn. I still don't love the Eurydice in the West End, but I kind of always just gravitate towards that album compared to Reeve and Eva, which is
Hmm.
interesting.
I wonder if you have more of a connection because, like, although you've seen you haven't seen Donald Finn in person. You've seen a lot of videos, but
Yeah.
you know, we did not see Reeve and Eva's version. We will see it when the Pro Shop comes out, but I wonder if that has something to do with why you don't gravitate towards that album.
I don't know because like I've definitely seen videos of them. I don't know why I'm not obsessed with his Orpheus.
Which is interesting because he originated the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I love Donald Finn. I've been really into Dylan Woods, Orpheus too. Um,
I wonder
s-
if Reeves Orpheus is one you needed to see in person.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I wonder if the pro shot will change my mind. But like right now, like ranking wise, well, I can't really rank because I didn't see the West End people. I just saw videos, and I don't know if that really counts.
Yeah.
Um, but we were discussing, we'll discuss it next week. I'm gonna keep that thought. Um,
Yeah.
so so yeah, that's at number two. And then at number one, this is no shock to anybody, but if it's true, obviously the Donald Finn version. If you go on TikTok and look up Donald Finn, if it's true, watch the video of him because it his acting is like actually insane, and I think we'll discuss it again next week because I feel like Ali took some of that, maybe not intentionally, but like, and that's why I was so obsessed with it. But Donald Finn starts, if it's true, like literally laying flat on his back and just staring at the ceiling. And you could just feel the desperation where he's like, I just lost the love of my life to Hades. And like, what am I gonna do? What can I do to make this better? Like, is this really true? What's going on? And how do I move on from this? That complete heartbreak. And him too, he's like bleeding more. Like, he has like more scratches on his face
Mm.
compared to the Broadway version. So, like, you really like see that he is beaten down completely.
I actually noticed last night that Ollie did have a decent amount of blood, more than I don't think Jordan ever had that much. But I saw it was even in his hands. Like, do you see it was
Yeah,
like in his nails almost? Like he was covered.
which I like because
Yeah.
he gets beat up.
But yeah, that was the
Beat
first time I
up,
really believed that he was getting beat up. Like I felt terrified for him last night.
right? Which yeah, I agree. Um I think guys, like if I could say this enough, like go see Hadestown. Um it's one of those shows where you feel like a million different emotions at once. You feel heartbreak, you feel almost hopeful at the end, even though something happens, but like you still feel hope for the future. It's very
Mm.
strange. Obviously we're gonna talk about it next week, but like
Also,
that's my
I would
addiction.
say, also I would add to that, the closer you sit, I think for Hadestown, the better. I think
Don't
the
sit in the
more
balcony.
you feel like you're in the story, don't, yeah, the Walter Care, do not sit in the balcony. It's literally two rows and it's like the worst. The
Yeah,
worst.
it's a nightmare. So yeah, that's my addiction.
Any
Um,
books this week? Any TV shows?
Yeah, book-wise, I finished all three. So I finished the Hunger Games series, like the Katniss version. Now I'm on to like the prequels and sequels or whatever. So I'm on to the Songbirds and the Snakes, whatever it's called. What's it called?
Hmm.
Book four. It's about President Snow and his origin story. So I've been like fully addicted to the Hunger Games. Like what? I finished the series, the three books in like what, like 2 weeks maybe?
You know
Less
what I
than
just
that.
realized? That, huh? I didn't realize that, they're what's it called? Hunger Games is called the Songbirds and whatever, right? And Hadestown has that song, Hey Little Songbird. But those are like the
Oh
only
shit.
two times I've ever heard Songbird. I wonder if
Wow.
there's some sort of connection in a way or reference.
I don't know. Well, I'll deep dive later and I'll type you
That's
up
a
an
deep
essay.
dive. Yeah, that's
That'll be an essay.
right? Because I just realized that. Okay, continue.
Yeah, so I'm reading all the books and then I'm gonna watch the movies. But like when I tell you the third book got me stressed. No spoilers. I finished that book. I started on a Sunday. I finished it on a Tuesday. I could not stop.
You also read
Stress.
fast.
Well, that's all I do. I come home and I read. I also started the final season of You. I'm slowly watching it. Like I'm only on episode two.
Hmm.
Um, honestly, kind of over it. It's the same story. He just murders people. Like,
Mm.
and then you're like that dilemma of is it for the good of the universe or if he's just a serial killer? Who knows? Um, so we'll see. I'll watch it just because I've watched all the other seasons, but just kind of that's been my week. Hadestown, Sunset Boulevard, Hunger Games.
And serial
Obsessed.
killers.
And serial killers, apparently.
That's
So I like
a good week.
toxic men all around.
Honestly, though, I think that's true.
Oh, dead.
That's very true for you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good week.
Yeah.
Very good week. Okay, I guess
Your
then
turn.
jumping over to mine. So I discussed this a little bit with you yesterday, but I've been having like a major throwback week.
Hmm.
And I cannot stop listening to the album of Julie and the Phantoms,
Yeah.
which should have never been canceled on Netflix. That's that even more than Grease Rise of Pink Ladies. I will never, ever be able to forgive the fact that they canceled Julie and the Phantoms. So both my number three and number two songs are from Julie and the Phantoms. So in my number three spot this week is going to be Unsaid Emily, which I think is one of the most beautiful songs of all
Crying,
time.
crying,
You cry every time.
sobbing.
I do too, yeah. I think it's really like one of the most beautiful songs of all time. Like if you just sit and listen to the orchestrations, like the instrumental in the background is so beautiful. And if you like really sit and think about the words, like I feel like everyone has a person in their lives that they could, theoretically sing this to or could be their Emily, like someone that you wish you got to say more to before you ended up saying like a final goodbye and you didn't know it was a final goodbye. So yeah, I just absolutely love that song. I think it's stunning. In second place is Stand Tall, which is the final song from Julie and the Phantoms when they all reunite at the end and do their big performance. I just love the harmonies in that number. I really love how like all four of them get featured throughout the song. And I just think it has like a really good build up throughout. And again, I think it's a great message that you always have to like stand tall and be proud and fight for what you want. So yeah, so those are my second and third place songs. My number one song, Skylar will absolutely not agree with because I played it for her yesterday for the first time and she thought it was the worst thing she's ever
Oh,
heard in her
hell
life.
no.
She thought it was the worst thing she heard. So I'm sure a lot of you are aware that the band, or the girl group Cat's Eye, released a new song this week called Gnarly, which is weird as all hell. It has the weirdest freaking lyrics, and almost none of the song makes sense. But the whole internet's been obsessing over it, and your girl included, because that beat is so freaking catchy. Like the
No.
breakdown, and there are some parts I really like.
Oh, hell no.
Um, yeah, so it's like a love-hate relationship with it, but I've been playing it like almost every year, every day, so it has to
Oh, I
go in number
cannot.
one. Scott, I played it for Skylar in the car yesterday, and she was just like, "What is this? This
Pure
is
disgust.
horrible, pure disgust." I mean, as I'm sure you guys could tell, Skylar and I have some different tastes, especially when it comes to music.
Yeah, like I love my Broadway and like 80s, 90s rock music and pop punk. I guess that's how it
Yeah.
described my taste.
I mean, I like that stuff too, but I also like I really like a good like 2000s pop, and I feel like this kind of gave me some of those vibes. Um,
Mm, maybe.
I like more 90s, 2000s pop. I listen to Disney a lot. I listen to show tunes a lot. Also, I'm very
Yeah.
big on like 60s, 70s. 80s, not as much.
Yeah, like I like the hair bands, as one would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, see, that's different. That's how we differ.
Yeah, but also I think it's just based on like what we grew up listening to. Like that's all my mom would play
And all
was
my
like,
family played was 60s, 70s.
yeah, like Motley Crue, Bon Jovi,
Mhm.
AC/DC, all
Very
that.
different. It's like, see, like, give me a good disco song.
Like I was,
Give me some Stevie Wonder. I love myself some Stevie Wonder.
yeah, like that's great. I was telling Michelle last night actually, like I was named after, and this is how you know, like my mom was a groupie. Um, I was named after Motley Crue, the lead singer of Vince Neil's daughter. He had a daughter named Skylar. So, and that's my mom's favorite band. And I actually have one of their songs tattooed on me. That's kind of interesting fact.
Hmm. Fun
Yeah,
fact of the day.
fun fact of me.
Fun fact of the day. But yeah, that's definitely how we differ.
Yeah, like if we're in the car, we're definitely listening to show tunes because we both agree on that.
Yeah. But you know what's interesting? Like, we even have sometimes different tastes of show tunes, though. Like like the albums that we lean towards. Or even the
Yeah,
types of songs. You're very big on ballads. I'm more into like the big numbers, like the big pizzazz numbers.
yeah, you're right. I like my ballads. I like to
Hmm.
feel, I don't know, connected in some way.
Yeah. I like duet ballads. I don't like solos as much, I don't think.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
if you
know.
were to play a song from, let's take a guess, maybe Hades Town, what would be the first song you'd play?
I would actually play if it's true. Or
Okay.
Flowers. That's the one show where I like the ballads more.
Wait, let me think of another
It's probably
show.
not a good example.
Wait, let me think of another show.
Hairspray.
Do
What do you go to in Hairspray?
Without Love. Without
I go to
Love.
Welcome to the 60s.
Okay, that makes sense.
What about, okay, now this is kind of fun. What other
It's
good
fun, right?
shows? Um,
Um,
Now I'm looking at my phone.
but you know what's funny is my last search because I said a kid at school looked like Kermit the Frog because he was like all depressed. And my song was Being Green. The last
The
song I looked up.
Muppets just celebrated their 70th anniversary. So,
Aw.
fun fact about that. That's actually very funny that that's your last search.
Yeah. All right, how about Newsies?
Okay, that's weird that you said that because I was just looking at Newsies.
Oh my God.
So get out of my brain.
Yeah, scary.
I always go to either Carrying the Banner or Once and for All.
I go towards The World Will Know or Santa Fe, which is basic, but
But see, that's like our difference. Like you go to the ballad, you go to the big
yeah.
belt. I'm trying to think of another really good
How about
show.
Outsiders?
Oh, see, Outsiders, I would go to anything. I guess I jump to Grease Got a Hold and Justice for Tulsa. Well, actually, no, I love Run Run Brother too.
Yeah.
But like I don't jump ever to stay gold.
No, I jump
Except if it's
towards
Josh's version. I do.
y- I jump towards Far Away from Tulsa and throwing in a towel. So, hello,
Oh,
darkness, my old
my old friend.
friend.
I also love a good Great Expectations though, with that
Yeah, that
one.
one's great.
Okay, hold on. let's do like one or two more shows because this is kind of fun. I'm
It's
enjoying
kind of
this.
funny.
Um, Wicked.
Oh, Wicked. What do I jump to? The first song I'm gonna play is probably Dancing Through Life.
Same.
Okay. Well, because it's
That would be
Jonathan
a great
Bailey,
up.
though.
Yeah, no, but I was talking about the Broadway. Well, the Broadway one. Are you the same with the Broadway version? You jumped to Dancing Through Life.
No, I jumped to For Good.
Oh, see, I jumped to Dancing Through Life still for the Broadway version, or No One Mourns the Wicked.
Oh. Or I will jump to As Long as You're Mine.
Mm. See, I love that number, but I don't jump. I don't jump.
They better be making out in the movie. That's all I'm gonna say. Or else
If
I'm gonna be so mad.
if you don't see them doing it full force,
I'm gonna be so mad.
that's so funny.
Refund.
Give me back my money. Let's pick one more show and then we'll move on.
Um,
Let's see. Dear Evan Hansen.
oh, I will jump to You Will Be Found.
Really?
Hmm.
See, this is where we differ. We flipped. You want the big number. I always jump to For Forever.
Mm,
So I think that's one of the most beautiful songs from the show. That and Words Fail. Like, I just love
yeah.
them. Interesting. We have different taste.
Oh God, the pipes are scaring me.
What happens when you're
Oh,
in a basement?
basement apartment. Let's go.
Um, so I guess other hyperfixations of the week. I've given up the work and hunt because I'm satisfied with our Aldo bags.
Yeah, our
So I
matching
guess
beds.
so this is probably my final work and hunt update for a bit, unless something magically happens. I will say though, Skylar and I saw on TikTok that they released a Jellycat Birkin. Well, it's really a
Hmm.
Birkin, but like a Jellycat Birkin. Kind of obsessed with that. I can't figure out if it's an actual stuffed animal or an actual purse you're supposed to use. If it's an actual purse, that's kind of weird to me. I would never use it. But if it's a stuffed animal purse, yeah, that's awesome.
I'm so.
Um,
Oh, I have an idea. Remember how we said we were gonna get each other birthday presents? We were just gonna go see shows. Can we
mhm.
revise that?
But shows.
No, we still do that. But have you seen where people get jelly cats that are based on each other's personalities?
No, but I'm up for that.
Like we surprise each other with jelly cats based on like what we think you would be as a jelly cat.
That's a good idea because we could even do that like in a video too.
Yeah.
Well, see, this is the thing. I guess we should say my Skylar and I have very close birthdays. We're literally like 2 weeks apart, two and a
Yeah,
half
so
weeks,
everybody, my birthday is May 29th.
June 17th.
Yeah. So don't forget, people.
Don't forget, wish us happy birthday.
Yeah.
We'll probably post something on our birthdays, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably right.
But so yeah, so we're really only like what is that, 2, 3 weeks apart. So we're trying to figure out what to do to celebrate our birthdays. And I guess that's also a little bit of a hyperfixation, is because we're trying to figure out what to do, what shows to go to, how can we celebrate and like to the max extent.
Yeah.
So I guess we could do something like that. Like we each try to get, because I do want a jelly cat. I've never had one. I know
You
you
do.
have one. You
I
have a jelly
do.
cat. So
Well, it's an off-brand, but it
where do you
looks like
buy
it.
jelly cats? Where do you buy jelly cats? Like on their website?
You can, or some stores have it, or if we have like a day in a city, maybe on like a Saturday, we could go to the actual store and do it there and just give
Oh,
it to each other.
you mean the jelly cat diner?
Hmm.
Like we could. We just need to have like time.
Yeah.
There's always a wait. Can you buy things other than just the diner food though?
Yeah, it's like a whole store of stuff.
So it has to be something that's each other's personality.
Yeah, right?
Okay, I'm on their website now. I'm looking. I'd be up for this adventure to see what we do
Yeah, I think it would be funny.
with animals. Amiibo bags and charms, baby books. Okay. Huh. Okay. Oh wait, so where did I leave off with my hyperfixations? I said I'm giving up the work and hunt. We spoke about this.
Shows, I think.
Television shows, I don't really have any this week. I haven't really been watching TV, honestly.
Yeah,
Um, I've been rewatching The Emperor's New Groove, if that counts.
that's such a good movie.
So good. Now I'm watching Kronk's New Groove. I started falling asleep to it last night. And then, oh, you know what I also will say? What's been a hyperfixation this week? Star Wars. So I'm a Star Wars girl. I think you know
Hmm.
that. And this past week was May the 4th be with you and Revenge of the 5th.
Yeah.
So I just want to give a shout out to all my Star Wars fans out there. I did watch some Star Wars this week in honor of it. I actually watched the Han Solo movie because my family and I have been like binging all the movies in order together. And the television shows. We just finished Clone Wars. So I guess I would say that hyperfixation of the week, Star Wars. And actually, you know what? It definitely is Star Wars for the week because it reached the point where last night Hayden Christensen was in one of my dreams.
I'm so dead.
So yes,
There you
definitely
go.
that. That was a great dream. So, you were in it too.
I was thriving in your
You
dreams.
were in all my dreams last night. But no, we were in like a Comic-Con type thing and somehow we were like front row and Hayden Christensen just had like somehow just popped up on stage and I was like freaking out and fangirling and you were trying to say to me, "Wow, look at him. He's so hot." And I was like, "Don't you even dare because you're not a Star Wars fan. I told you
Oh my
off."
God.
And then I was like, "That's my man." Yeah. That happened.
Oh,
Wow.
jeez.
Isn't it crazy like when you say one thing and you just like remember an entire dream?
Yeah, it's weird. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely weird.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be discussing my dreams because that's for my own personal life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, yeah, there's certain dreams I will not discuss on here. But
that's
Hayden
a good one.
Christensen, I can discuss.
So,
Thank you.
is that it for your hyperfixations?
Yeah, that's it for the week. I would say Star Wars and the music is really the big one. And of course, I'm still playing Toontown. Princess Cookie's
Yeah.
now 104. So,
Jeez. Iconic. Okay,
iconic.
so you ready to get into some scandalocious?
Yeah, we have some scandalous news we really need to discuss. So, both Heathers and the
Mm-hmm.
new Dolly Parton musical
Mm-hmm.
had online open calls
Mm-hmm.
for casting of the shows. Especially Dolly advertised it as the search for Dolly. They were looking for Dolly Parton.
Yep.
Boom, the news gets announced this week. They announced the women playing Dolly. There's three of them, like for different ages, but like the main Dolly is Carrie St. Louis, who apparently has been with the production already since 2023.
Like
And
what?
in Heather's casting news, again, they did an open call for all roles. But who gets
Yep.
cast? It's like an entire Broadway cast. Casey Likes is JD, and Lorna Courtney is Veronica.
Veronica. Okay, so like why? Is it just to hype the show up?
I
But like
think by law they have to do open calls, but I
they already
don't
knew
think
who they're
they needed,
casting.
they already knew it. And to be honest, I don't think they needed to advertise them as like contests and like made them these big deals. Like that's where I think they went wrong.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I think the Dolly Parton musical just really hurt itself because I think a lot of people are not going to go now in support of the people who were the finalists, who didn't, not a single person like got in.
Yeah, they could have at least put one. That would have
Yeah.
made sense. Yeah, that was it's all over my TikTok, the scam. It was kind of silly to me because like you know it's gonna come out. Like you have to
Mhm.
put your casting out. How do you think people are gonna feel? Like that was so stupid. Like bad marketing.
Well, yeah, it's gonna ruin their shows, in my opinion.
Let's
Also, I'm not thrilled with the Heather's casting.
I was just about to say that. Let's talk about the Heather's casting. We obviously are gonna see it. Our initial thoughts are I don't know how I feel about Casey Likes as JD.
I don't like it. I don't know why. I always pictured JD like there has to be something really like ooh to
Like
him
it makes
that
sense why Veronica like
like can't.
murders.
Well, yeah, like it has to make sense why Veronica can't let go of him. And Casey likes is good looking, he's attractive, he's cute, but he doesn't have that same like I don't know how to describe it, like growl,
Like
like
Ryan McCartan and
roughness.
Jamie Moscato has, where it's
Yeah,
like,
like
oh, I'm drawn to them and I understand why she loves him because like I love his JD. And I would
yeah.
do that.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly though, exactly.
Yeah.
And they don't yeah, they don't he doesn't have that to me. Like I
He's
don't know,
almost like
but
young boyish. I don't know. Like
yeah,
he seems young to me.
I mean maybe other girls think differently, girls and
Yeah.
gays, maybe they think differently, but I don't know. I just don't find that I guess what is it, sex appeal?
Yeah.
Um yeah.
It
So
helps you understand the story more.
yeah,
Like the why. Like, because Veronica literally agrees to like write a suicide note and like do all this stuff for him. So I don't know. I mean, obviously we're gonna see it and we might be biting our tongue right now and like we might love him, but like initial thoughts is I don't know if I'm gonna understand why Veronica is so obsessed with him.
that's how I feel too.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I don't know. And I think Lorna Courtney will be great. I mean, she has the belt for Veronica. I think she'll be good. It's not
I don't know
my,
about
she's not,
acting.
I don't know about acting. She's not, I mean, we liked her in Anne Juliet, but I thought Maya Boyd, who took over, is significantly better.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that she has a good voice. I think there's potential. But also,
Yeah.
some reason, I think she looks too old to be paired with Casey Likes, JD.
I was thinking that too. I don't know why. He gives like such like a young, like to me he feels like 20. And he's probably like upper 20s, but to me he seems so young.
I don't think he's upper 20s. Hold on. I'm gonna
Oh,
look this
really?
up. He's only 23.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Um,
How old is she?
Lorna Courtney's 26.
Um,
See, 3 years. I don't know. When the girl is older, I feel like 3 years can make a look of a difference. But
yeah.
usually I don't feel the same way when the guy's older.
Yeah, because Jordan Fisher looked the same age as Maya in
Yeah.
Hadestown. Huh. I don't know. We have to get tickets. Like that's in a whole that's gonna be interesting. But I don't know. Like I was so excited. Now I'm like, I'm nervous. Yeah.
I'm trying to think how old, because now you mentioned them. How old is Myrna and Ollie? Her name's Myrna, right? What's her last name?
Is it Myrna or Myra?
Myra?
It's Myra, right? Yeah,
Myra
Myra.
Malloy.
Myra.
Age. She's 27. He's only like 25 or 26, I think.
She's 27?
We thought last night she looked like she was like 18, 19.
She's older than me? What?
Hmm.
No, I thought she was young, young. Okay, that's weird.
I thought she was a youngin. So she's older than Ollie, but somehow still it looked, I don't know,
They
it looked
looked
better
paired
to
nice.
me. Yeah. I don't know.
Interesting.
Hmm.
We shall see. We might be biting our tongue and be like, oh my God, he's like, they were incredible together. So it's kind of like Nick Jonas. At first, we were kind of like, and then he was like the best part of the last 5 years.
I think I just found which jelly cat I'm getting you.
Oh, I'm dead.
I'm searching as we talk. I have one
I'm dead.
option here.
I'm dead. Okay. So that was a scandalocious scam of the week or semi-scam.
Yeah.
Um, a more exciting news, which I think you are very would be excited for if it was coming near us, which we should look that up. Maybe we could do a travel. Beauty and the Beast tour casting was announced.
Ugh. It's gonna be so good. So they casted, um, obviously it was announced already that Cara Bell Johnson and Fergie L. Felipe are gonna be in Beauty and the Beast, but now they also added Danny Gardner, Kathy Voitko, Javier Ignacio, and more. They announced like the full ensemble. I want to see this tour so badly. You know, Beauty and the Beast is like will always be my all-time favorite, like everything.
Yeah.
Like
We're
the beat
Schenectady.
Schenectady is all the way upstate.
They're going to
Um,
Buffalo,
that's also upstate. That's not near us.
Pennsylvania.
Let's see.
The only close place would be
That's
Pennsylvania
uh,
or
no,
Pittsburgh.
Connecticut. They're going to Hartford, Connecticut. That's
Oh,
actually
that's
the
only like an
closest.
hour.
Okay, maybe Hartford.
Ooh, okay. That would be fun. Tickets, wait, no. Oh, tickets don't go sale till April 7th, 2026.
No, that's when the show is.
No, it's on sale date to be announced.
No, no.
Oh, that's when the
No.
show is. On sale date to be announced. I'll sign up for
Yes.
alerts.
Okay.
That's like a grandma trying to read this. All
I
right.
was just like, I'm gonna wait for her to get there.
Okay, I signed up for alerts. Okay. Yeah, that would be cool. A little trip.
Hartford's not bad. I would gladly go to Hartford to see this. I really, really want to see this. I mean, you're gonna have to like hold me though, because every time Beauty and the Beast, like the actual song plays, I hysterically sob like a mofo.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to
that
hold me up.
was that my second show or first Broadway show? No, I think Annie was my first. I saw this on Broadway. The only thing I was young though. The only thing I remember is when the beast transforms into a human.
Really?
That's the only thing I can still visualize in my head.
You know what I remember?
Hmm.
You want to hear a story, a little story time?
Okay.
Be seated for this one. I remember that, it was Beauty and the Beast. All I wanted to see was Beauty and the Beast. I mean, this is my everything. Like literally, if
Yeah.
you know me, this is my personality, is Beauty and the Beast. And I was pissed because I went with my family and it was getting close to the start of Act Two, and my brother, I think, needed to get a drink or go to the bathroom. If I remember correctly, he had to go to the bathroom. So my mom, for some reason, took me with them. My dad was
Oh,
still sitting in the chairs, and my brother took so long to go to the bathroom, and like then he wanted to look at other things that we missed the start of Act Two, and I missed the entire wolf fight,
what?
and I will never get over that. I think that's actually where my stress of being late to shows developed.
Yeah. Well, mine
Childhood
developed when
trauma.
we did it at Moulin Rouge. That that was stressful. We literally, it wasn't even like late, but we like to be a half hour. And we literally are running. We sit down in our seats and it starts. And I'm like, oh my God.
I don't know how we made it. The first part of the show starts, and I'm sitting there taking my inhaler from running so hard.
Yeah.
At one point, I remember I yelled out to you, "Just go on without."
Like, no, I'm not leaving you behind.
Well, because there was some reason there was a lot of street closures that day, and it kept rerouting us, and then we couldn't get to the parking lot we needed to get to, so we had to go to another parking lot far from the theater.
And wasn't that like our first show like back together?
Yeah. That's the way I yelled at you. Go on now. He literally was like a scene from a movie.
And you're like, no, I'm not leaving you behind.
And of course, we were in like high heel wedges that day. That's after that, we're both like, never again.
We're like,
Never
we'll be an
again.
hour early from here on out, which we always are.
Yeah, now we take our time, we schmooze, we get our gingies.
Yeah, we cannot. We go potty. I can't stand the potty line. I can't
Yeah.
stand the potty line.
Okay, last night at Hades
Oh my
Town,
God.
we're going into the we were on time, like good. And we go into the
Yeah.
theater. For some reason, our tickets aren't scanning. They sent us over to the box office to get them reprinted. And the entire time we're waiting for them to be pre-reprinted, Skylar's just like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to wait on a line for the bathroom. I'm gonna have to wait on a line for the bathroom. And she's hyper fixating over this. Like, I keep
Yeah, I'm
telling her, like,
stressed.
relax, you'll get to pee. She keeps going, saying, there's gonna be a line. What am I gonna do? I'm not gonna be able to go to the bathroom. I have to get a line. I have to get a line. Look, all the people are going in. I'm not gonna be able to get a line. Why are they taking so long to print? I gotta go, I gotta have to pee. I'm gonna have to pee. I'm gonna have to wait on a line. And I'm
I'm
like,
so stressed out.
and she's like, how are we gonna have time to get our drinks and do this? I was like, okay, you go to the bathroom, I'll get the gingies, and we'll meet at the seats.
Meanwhile, we were still like 20 minutes early because there was no line for the bathroom. I
We
was
really were
fine.
just we were sitting there for a good 20, 25 minutes before the show started, but she was
I was
hyperventilating.
stressed. And then like the usher had the audacity to be like, "You need to separate the tickets when we're going back in." I'm like, "I am separating them." I was like, "Dude, like I'm stressed. I gotta pee." Like,
No, but it was the way you were like,
yeah, that
this
was
poor
the
man is trying to print out the tickets as fast as possible, and you're just like, I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom. Like, I'm just gonna be a line. This is gonna be a line. I was this close to being like, should I be smacking her to send her back to
to
reality?
reality. I think I have like PTSD from the last 5 years for how long I had to wait on that line.
Mm, yeah.
And I'm like, no. I like being able to sit, take my picture, scroll, get excited, talk, and then, which we'll talk about for John Proctor, why we were like annoyed with the pre-show. Because we
Oh
love to
hell
just,
yeah.
yeah, we'll talk about it in a little bit. But like,
We
our
probably
favorite thing is to sit there and like talk. Like, that's our
yeah.
time.
That's our relaxing time to prep.
Yeah.
We probably should get through the rest of the Broadway news so we can get to the John Proctor
Oh my
review.
God.
We're
We still
just
have a
yapping
lot.
today. We're yapping today.
All right, so we'll just do this quick. Ready?
Mhm.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, the In the Heights Broadway cast recording is now certified gold. Iconic.
Congratulations. Iconic. That's amazing.
Iconic.
I love that album. I still go back to that album all the time.
That's such a good one. Such, and it's a show that we both never seen live, right?
Yeah, I wish. If they ever play it near us, like even community theater, I would
Oh, there
go.
is. Near me. Okay, I'll get back to you. There is.
Um, Other Broadway news. Here We Are, which is the final musical written by Stephen Sondheim, is going to be premiering at the London National Theatre on May 8th. So it opens and premiered this week. It's going to be featuring Jane Krakowski, Martha Plimpton, and Jesse Tyler Ferguson, and more. And
That
fun fact,
cast.
remember when we saw Jesse Tyler Ferguson at the stage door for Gatsby? Now that was wild.
That was cool. That cast, though, oh my God. Lucky, lucky again. And with more London news, like you're lucky again, you're getting shucked as I'm literally wearing my shucked shirt.
Ugh,
Um,
I'm so jealous that they're getting shucked.
rude. Shuck should never close, but we, well, hopefully soon see Andrew Duran, but that show is iconic. It's one of our favorites and go-tos. It is so funny. It's funny but heartfelt. So highly
Yeah.
recommend West End people. Go, 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 go,
It
go.
opens at the Regent Park's Open Air Theater on May 10th. So again, it opens this week, so run.
Go, go, go. Um,
More Broadway news. Um, Nicole Scherzinger, Karimlu. I always say his name wrong.
Caramello,
Remember when I
Caramel,
pronounced him as Ramen a few episodes ago? Ramin
Ramen.
Karimlu and Chloe Flower released a recording of El Tango de Roxanne from Moulin Rouge.
Did you listen to that?
No, I did not. I'm going to be honest with
Oh
you.
my God. Oh my God. Like just that's it. Just oh my God. I didn't even know that they were doing this. And when I saw it on TikTok and I was like, this is not real. And I went to YouTube and I was like, oh, this is real.
You
Oh my
know,
God.
I almost, obviously Ramin's a little older. I almost kind of would love to see a little bit of an older Christian on Broadway.
Mm,
I feel like
he'd
that
be
could be
great.
an interesting, can you imagine I mean, we love Andy Carl as a Duke, but imagine Andy Carl as Christian.
Oh. But imagine Ramin as a Duke.
Mm. He would kill it as the Duke.
He'd be so good. I love him. I saw him in Les Mis a bunch of times. Like he was my John Valjean when I think back.
Hmm.
And then I saw him in Anastasia. And he's just
Yeah.
that cast was
I saw him in
Stellar.
Anastasia. That was a great cast. Yeah.
We used to see him in Pirates, although I've heard not great reviews of Pirates, so we'll see.
Yeah, I do still want to see Pirates though. It's on my list.
Yeah, we have
Pirates, did
thoughts.
they get nominated for anything with the Tonys?
I think Revival.
Okay.
I think Revival.
Hmm.
So just a quick little thing. If you're looking for like a program, whatever, I thought this was cool. It's actually in New York City. Patrick Page has this theater called Studio 2B, and it's to train actors in Shakespeare. So, if you're looking for something, I think it's really cool when you get like such a big name and you're learning from the best. Um, so if you're looking for that, it's actually in New York City and it's going to be held between June 16th and August 4th. Again, if you want, look it up. I think it's really, really cool. And I love when actors give back to the community in this way.
That's awesome. Oh my God, I almost wish I could do that. That looks and sounds really cool.
Yeah, and I'm
Um,
sure, and Shakespeare's so hard, so it would
hmm
be really cool to learn from the best of the best. And I think
Yeah, and
Patrick Page
Pat,
really is.
he's unbelievable. I've seen him a few times. Like he's insane. His
Yeah,
voice.
I would wish we saw him as Hades, although I love Philip Boykin. I'm just
Yeah.
curious, but we'll see him in the pro shot.
Philip Boykin, can we just say one more fun
Oh,
thing before we move on to the review?
yeah.
Last night, as they were finishing their bows and everyone's walking up stage, for some reason, Philip Boykin, when he saw Skylar, went crazy and just like went on like a waving spree. I don't know what
What
happened.
did I do?
I
I
don't
don't even know what I
know.
did. I think I was just clapping.
Maybe you were clapping crazy because he just went like, "Ah."
But I wonder if throughout the show they saw our reactions.
Maybe because we were row C, which was pretty much the second row, but it was like there was no one in front of us, so it really is like the first row.
Yeah,
And we had some
reactions.
reactions. Skylar was entertaining to say the least.
I was shaking from sobbing. It was so dramatic. But they were so good.
I cried a few times, but you were funny. There was a few moments in the show I had to turn to her and be like, "Are you okay?"
You
Like
said rubbing my arm.
I started rubbing your back at one point because I was like, it's okay, relax, relax.
Like,
Because
thanks, Mom.
you were like, you needed consoling.
It's so funny because like I looked at you and go, "Oh shit, I'm sobbing." I was like, "Oh no." Yeah,
Like you didn't expect it to happen.
I don't know. It gets me every time.
You were sobbing by like the opening number.
Literally. They go dun 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 dun. Dun. I'm like sobbing.
You know what did shock me though? I forgot they all just like run out on stage. And I was just like,
Yeah. Oh, hello. Hello.
it's like the Justice for Tulsa. Duh.
Yeah.
Gets me.
Just love that show.
Okay, well, I guess it's time for us to move to our review of John Proctor is the Villain. Um, Once again, how we usually do our reviews, we have it broken down into different categories. We rank every category on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, and then we add up and divide to get our total average rating for the show of what we both think. Um, Obviously, this is a play, so we changed up some of the categories based on what's involved in the show. So the categories for this week are going to be costumes, set designs, directing, which is a new one,
Mm.
choreography, the book, ambiance slash crowd control, casting choices, and acting and pacing. Now, what John Proctor is the villain. I'm going to get into the synopsis like we always do, but first, it was an interesting experience. The show has a lot of hype
Yeah.
behind it. I mean, the stage door every day is crazy from what we've seen.
Yeah.
It is very, I would say, Gen Z focused.
Yeah, I think a lot of like the wording and the way that things are said are definitely based and like references are based on that generation.
Yeah, so I would just keep that in mind while we're sharing our review. Just because we had thoughts on everything. Also, it was directed by Danya Taymor, who is the same director as The Outsiders, so I think that also built up a lot of hype around it, but
Hmm.
we're gonna get into it. Um, but quickly, let's do a little summary of it. And I do think the summary of it kind of is almost like part of the reason why we weren't thrilled with the show. So be aware, by the way, FYI, if you have not seen the show, we may have some spoilers, so
Yeah, just
to
beware.
be aware. So the show is about a small town in Georgia where the high schoolers are about to read The Crucible in the English class. And their teacher is Mr. Smith. And it's a smaller class. You have Mason Adams, you have Ivy Watkins, Lee Turner, Nell Shaw, Beth Powell, Rayla Nix, and you have another girl who's supposed to be in the class, Shelley Holcomb, who is missing like the first few weeks of school.
Mm.
Um,
Couple months, I thought.
yeah, months, actually, months, you're right.
Yeah.
So the teacher, Carter Smith, is this nice Christian man, goes to church with all the kids as well, is married, has a baby on the way, and he's like, okay, we're gonna learn about the Crucible now. We're gonna, kind of what we all have done in school. We're gonna read through it, we're gonna act out scenes of the play, and you guys at the end of the book are gonna have a project where you have to make up a scene between two characters who never interact in the play, which by the way, I did not tell you this that night, but I'm pretty sure I did that exact assignment at school.
I was gonna say, I feel like I did too.
I remembered it like as soon as they said it, and I was like, I definitely did that.
I guess nobody was original. Our
No.
high school
I
teachers.
think it's probably like a Spark Notes like suggested
Yeah.
assignment. Um, so you start learning the dynamics of the school. You learn that Nell Shaw is the new girl at school. She just moved from Atlanta, Georgia. She's very feminist and wants to start a feminism club at school. You
Mm.
have Ivy Watkins, who comes from this rich family. Her dad, I believe, is a politician, or he's pretty well
Isn't
known in
he?
the community.
Yeah, I think something like that.
Yeah, but
And then
he's
the other one
definitely on
was
the
the
richer side.
pastor, right?
Yeah, the pastor's daughter is Raylan.
Yes.
And then you have Beth, who's also just like a nice little Southern belle.
Southern Belle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I would describe it. So you start learning the dynamics. You find out that Raylan and Lee used to date. Lee cheated on her with Shelby. And then after that, Shelby disappeared. Shelby and Raylan used to also be best friends. Um, so there's a little bit of a tension there. Um, the girls start this feminism club. They start talking about the Me Too movement. It takes place in 2018 when a lot of the Me Too stuff was coming out.
Mm.
And they start kind of relating it back to their own lives. It comes out in the news that Ivy's dad is being, what's the word?
Accused?
Victimized, accused, yeah, of something in regards to the Me Too movement that his like
The sister?
assistant
Yeah.
had something happen to her. So they start dealing with that tension while also running this feminism club. And out of nowhere, Shelby decides to come back to school. Everything's kind of thrown for a loop. Um, I guess to kind of say things without completely spoiling it, you do find out that Shelby was abused, but you do find out by who, but I don't know if we're necessarily gonna. Although I feel like we kind of need to reveal it because it's something that made us angry, is how it was handled.
Yeah, so really spoiler, 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 spoiler. Sorry, but yeah, there we
So
go.
you find out that Shelby left school because she was in a relationship for like over 6 months with the teacher, Carter Smith, which
Mm.
no one expected. He is a predator. You find out he's also been trying to kind of make moves on Beth now, the little Southern Belle Christian girl. She feels a closeness with him. They apparently text outside of school and meet
Yucky.
up, and but you never see him actually act on Beth, but he did supposedly act on Shelby. It causes a
Mm.
whole trial. He comes back. He's allowed to continue teaching, but like she has to move out of his class. And there's also another teacher involved, Mrs. Gallagher, who kind of grew up with. Mr. Smith,
Mhm.
her brother was friends with him. Um, and she also went to school with the girls. She's kind of right in between their ages. So yeah. And she's trying to also help facilitate this whole situation. Um, so yeah, I guess we should get into the physical review now, unless there's anything else you want to add to the summary.
Um, no, I guess we could just start.
So I would like to start with the ambiance and crowd control because it was horrible.
Okay, so when you walk into the theater, and this is gonna make me sound really old, but whatever. Music is blasting, like blasting. Like you have music playing, like The Outsiders has it um playing, but this was like you were walked into like a club, it was so loud. We went on a Tuesday too, which maybe if I went on a Saturday, I feel differently, but coming from work where it's constant loud noises, as everyone knows, like as being a teacher, it's just overstimulation, and then going into the theater and it just being blasting, that kind of made me feel like very like overstimulated and very like a little like stressed out because I couldn't like hear my own thoughts. And
Yeah,
like
we couldn't hear each other.
well, yeah,
I Yeah, I was just like it made me feel like I was at a wedding with a DJ blasting music. Like when they blast it so loud, like it gives you a
yeah,
migraine. That's
yeah.
what I was getting.
And like we said before, our favorite part about going to the theater is like we go early because we go to the bathroom, whatever, but we like to sit down and kind of talk. We talk about either shows, we talk about our lives, like whatever. It's kind of like our time as two friends to talk. And it was
Mm.
very hard to do it there because um, you probably can tell I don't talk too loud to begin with. So having to like force myself to like really like scream and maybe not want to, but also like it was causing me to like have like maybe like a regulation issues because I was kind of sitting there like, oh my God, like this is like my heart is pounding, but like also like I'm trying to just like ignore it, but it is so loud right now, like, and this is not what I want right now at a play.
It also wasn't even just the music. There was also like the crowd was really bad. Like I don't want this to come off wrong, but there was a lot of more like I would say Gen Z in the audience. And they were like screaming at each other. But I think also everyone was screaming at each other because you couldn't hear each other over the music. But the screaming at each other while you're trying to talk and gossip combined with the music, like literally you could not hear anything. And it was very uncomfortable. It was very unpleasant. Also, I don't know why. We also just had people around us, like the girl behind us was kicking our chair, and like that
Yeah.
also was bothering us.
I
But
do
also
want to say,
the usher was
yeah,
really
that's what I was gonna
nasty.
say. Yeah, so keeping this in mind, we walk in and the ushers are usually like so nice. Like every theater, I feel like we haven't had a major issue. But today, like the sass was like crazy for the show. We're walking and I also like I wasn't recording. Like I tried to, but I was waiting until I got whatever. So I'm showing her on my phone and it's completely zoomed in because when we came in, like when they scanned it, they zoomed it in. So I was trying to like unzoom it so that she could see. But I was also just telling her where we're sitting. And she's like, and the usher goes, I can read. And I was like, I'm just trying to help you. And she's like, oh, stop. I can read. And I was like, what? I was like,
She was nasty.
I'm just trying to help you. And she's like, stop trying to unzoom it. I was like, there's no way you're talking to me like this. And I completely went like stone cold. I was so upset.
I honestly thought that you were about to blow up at her, and I thought you were going to get us kicked out of the theater. And I even said that to you when we sat down. I was like, I really got nervous that you were just going to get us kicked out.
Like, I would never get us kicked out. I was just like, it was just like unnecessary.
But you can have a temper. So I was like,
Well, don't make me sound like a complete jerk off.
no, not
I
like that,
didn't.
but like, not like that. That's not what I mean. But like, you can get a little sassy.
Well, yeah, but it's like not just 'cause I feel like it.
Yeah, you used to
If
be
it's
provoked.
I have to be provoked. And she like made me like so upset because the stop I can read when I'm trying to like tell her, like I was just telling her where the seats are. And also she was a second usher we showed our tickets to. So I was like,
Hmm.
okay, so it's like you don't really like the first one, yeah, you have to check, and she was fine. This one was just like so nasty, and I was like, all right, you're making me like really upset and it's really setting the tone. And I was like trying to ignore it, but I was like, does she think I'm like lying about where I'm sitting? Like, I was just so upset. And the whole I can read got me because I was like, all right, I guess I won't try to help you. Like,
Yeah. So that combined with the music, combined with people screaming over each other, and even like throughout the show, I didn't think the audience behaved greatly. They were calling things out from the audience. They were like snapping. They were,
laughing at weird points too. Like, there's like
yeah.
serious lines being said and people were laughing. Like,
Yeah.
especially when like Lee would talk, like people were just like laughing. And I was like, what? Like the scene between Lee and what's her name? I'm sorry. Raylan?
Raylan.
Raylan. Um, he would like say things and people would be laughing. I'm like, this is like a serious scene. Like he's trying to like potentially like sexually assault her right now. Like, why are you laughing?
Yeah. I don't know. It was very strange to me, the audience that day. But also, like I said, the like you said, the ushers, I don't know. For me, it's zero. I really was like turned off by it. Also, I did not like how security handled things outside the theater.
Yes.
We were like standing online actually in front of juniors, and then they, pull up the line in groups at a time, but they started like the doors were not open into the theater, but they wanted to start checking people through security. So they started checking people in and then making you like crowd right outside the theater in like this
Yeah.
little blocked off area where it almost felt like you're in like a general admission concert, like when everyone's on top of each other. It was those kind of vibes. And because of that, people who were online way behind us kept cutting us off when the doors finally opened.
Yeah, it was like crazy. And I will say we did buy the tickets at the box office. We had a weird experience at the box office too, which I think we should bring up.
Mm,
So we bought partial views for $54, with fees and everything.
which really
And
wasn't even a partial view, by the way. The seats were great.
no, the only thing you missed is when they write on the chalkboard. I have no idea what they wrote. Um,
He literally just wrote the Crucible.
okay,
And
like
the only reason I know is I saw the Ibble.
okay. All right, so that's not a big deal. So we went and bought it at the box office, and usually when you go to the box office, you get a physical ticket right then and there. So, um, I have to tell you something after. Oh, this is like me being sneaky. I gotta tell you something later. Just
Okay.
remind me. What was I saying? Okay, so we were buying it, and they said you're gonna get an email like within the next 2 minutes of a receipt. I was standing there because I was nervous because they weren't. I was like, you can't print out me a receipt, and they said no.
They
And
refused to print out the tickets,
and
too.
the tickets, they said the tickets will be emailed you. And I didn't get the tickets till like Sunday, I think, or maybe Monday. And I was like, that's weird. So we're standing there, and I wanted to make sure that I got the receipt. If it wasn't coming through, it wasn't coming through. And I was like, can you just double check the email? Because she made it sound like it was going to be immediate. And she's like, I have the right email or something, she said.
Well, I started saying to her, I was like, is there any way you can just, print out the tickets? We would prefer
Yeah.
it. We'd rather not wait on the email. And she was like, I have the correct email. You guys just need to wait.
Yeah, it was
She
like
sassed
so
me.
rude. It was like so rude for no reason. Like we just it's just like a courtesy. Like we like the physical. Like we did it at Hadestown, we did it at Mulan, like literally 20 minutes before we went there. So like I don't know what the problem was. So that kind of turned me a little off because I was like, that's rude and like also like I'm just trying to make sure that there's no issues the day of the show so that we can come in smoothly. So sorry, like I don't know. We wound up getting the email like 10 minutes after I got the email. We were standing outside for a little bit and I kept refreshing. I was like, I don't want to walk away until I receive the receipt in my email.
It bothered me that they wouldn't at least give us a printed receipt in case of an emergency.
Yeah, like that was it was crazy. So,
But
yeah,
also, it's
that
weird to me
was
that the box office would not print physical tickets.
yeah, that is weird. And I will say like between that and like the entering of the theater, I didn't feel very like welcomed, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I felt the same way. I felt like they were like hurt. I actually heard someone say this as well. Like it felt like they were like herding like cattle, like or like
Yeah,
pigs. Like the way that they were crowding us all in.
and the
It
way they
felt
were
very
talking.
unwelcoming. And then even when walking in, hearing the music blasting so loud, it just started off, you felt uncomfortable. And I don't know if that's what they were going for. I obviously don't think so. But also, it was just, I don't know, I felt uncomfortable. I also really didn't like the music that they chose.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a lot of like pop hits, I guess, but it was like every song, like it almost spoiled the show. It was every song was about women's like feminism of today, and all the women artists were singing like Taylor Swift, Beyonce, like Roar by Katy Perry, like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, and like it just spoiled the show a bit too. I don't know.
I felt like very uneasy, if that makes sense.
I did too.
Like very like stressed and like it made me in like a weird mental state, which might have like affected the way I was
Hmm.
taking in the material and why it like really like affected me a
Yeah.
bit.
It's possible. I give it a 0 for ambiance and crowd control. I really thought it was the worst that we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I agree.
So, which category should we do next? Do you want to jump over to like costume set design?
Yeah, I guess. I thought it was interesting.
So it's supposed to be you're supposed to kind of set design and costumes go hand in hand with this show because it's you're supposed to believe that you're in back in 2018 in like a small town southern school. I will say that I thought the set was really cool. Like you really look it looked like a classroom. Like
Yeah,
it
the
looked
set
like
was
my classrooms
really
growing
cool.
up.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely felt like you were transported to high school again.
Yeah, I felt like I was like in the school. I even loved how whenever like they would enter and exit the classroom, they had like a wall of lockers built behind the set so you don't see the wing space. Like it always looks like you're in a school.
Yeah.
Um, I also liked how they even gave him like one of those sliding chalkboards that you see in school. Like it looked like a very believable classroom.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They even had like their little corner where they have a couch set up, like like the quiet corner and like
Yeah,
all that fun.
definitely.
For for me, I actually would give set a 10 because I really felt like I was transported back to school, like you said. Like I felt like I was back in high school. Um, the only thing, although I don't even know if it really has to do with set, the set piece never changed, not even once.
Yeah, like even like when not Ivy. Um, is it Shelby or Shelly?
Shelby.
Sorry, I get confused. Shelby and Raylan.
Hmm.
When they were like talking to each other like outside or were they like I almost felt like they were on a roof and I know they weren't.
They were at a gas station. They did change some of the projections on top.
Yeah, but I for some reason to me it looked like a rooftop. But
Hmm.
maybe they fell flat with that for me. I feel like they could have done more with
Yeah.
that.
I think
Because
that
you
one
still had
scene
the
they could have done
school in the
more.
background a little bit. So it was like weird.
I also think it would have been cool to see time progressing a little bit more through the set. Like,
Yeah.
realistically in a classroom, like, you finish like a week of projects, whatever, the teacher's gonna hang things up around the room. Things are gonna
Yeah.
change slightly.
It's gonna be anchor
Um,
charts all over the place.
yeah, I would have loved to seen some of that in terms of like movement of
Yeah,
time.
I agree. And like a little bit more change in clothing. Like I know they changed a little bit, but like I don't know. The teacher, like he didn't really. He had the same fit,
But I
pretty
also have
much.
had teachers like that who they show up in khakis and a button down every day. It's always just
Yeah.
like slightly a different color. Like that didn't really bother me as much, the costumes. Um, I mean, they did change. Like I saw like when Ivy was like more depressed over the stuff with her father coming out, she changed into like more like yoga pants.
Yeah.
But then she goes back to wearing like her skirts and her like girly stuff towards the end.
Yeah.
I did not like Shelby's costumes.
Shelby.
That's
Yes.
Sadie Sink's character.
Sorry, yeah.
I just didn't understand. It was like kind of like this grungy look, but I almost feel like they were trying too hard to show like, oh, this is a girl where something has happened to her.
But does it make sense for 2018 or it makes more sense for 2025? Like her
Mm.
outfits didn't make sense to me if we're in 2018.
I agree because they felt very like Gen Z kind of coded, but it's the Gen Z of today, how they dress with
Yeah.
like the flared pants. That's like very much back in style, the straight leg
And
with
the
like the
polo,
boots. They
girls wearing polos and stuff. So that's where
yeah.
I think it fell flat for me because I felt like we're supposed to be in 2018, but I feel like we're in 2025.
Yeah, and even like what was the character's name? Is it Nell?
Hmm.
Um like she was wearing like very neon colored jackets and sweaters, which almost reminded me of like early 90s, like shows like Family
Yeah.
Matters.
Yeah.
Like it just, I don't know. I felt like some of the costumes didn't mesh together well. I
Hmm.
liked Beth's costumes a lot. That felt realistic to me for 2018. Also,
And
I felt
for
like
her,
for who? Oh,
because
oh, for
she's
the
very
character.
like um closed off almost, like covering everything and
Yeah. Lee's costumes felt a little more grungy again, 1990s vibe to
Mhm.
me.
I
Um,
hated his last costume. I thought it was so weird.
I don't even remember it. What
The
was he wearing?
He had like his shirt tucked in and then like a Carhartt like jacket over, but like
Mm,
the way that the shirt with the jacket, it just looked very disproportional to me. Like
mm.
it just didn't like make sense, if that kind
But
of.
that's also a very Gen Z type thing, is the disproportion, like the big jackets, the big pants with the tight crop tops.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Also, for Raylan, they made it a point throughout the show that she doesn't like know who she is anymore, and maybe she wants to dress more like Billie Eilish, is what she said.
Hmm.
And I don't know, they never really changed her costume enough to progress to that, but I felt like they thought they were.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they might have thought they were, but she still seemed the same.
Yeah, I don't know. So what would you rate everything?
I would give it like maybe a five, like in the middle.
Okay, for costumes.
Yeah, like,
I think I'm gonna give it a 6.
hmm.
There were parts I liked. I wasn't thrilled with it. For sets for me, I give sets a 9.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. I'm looking up because they kept talking about Billie Eilish throughout the whole show. It says in 2018 she was like really depressed and almost took her own life. So I wonder, were they trying to hint that Raylan wanted to do that? Like, I don't understand.
I didn't get that vibe. I got her like
No.
just she's been in a relationship forever. That's her
Mm.
whole identity, and now she wants to like explore other things.
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna explore her sexuality a little bit more, but
Hmm. Well, that too, because they made a point to say that she wishes she could sleep with Selena Gomez, and then they never went down that route again.
yeah.
Well, and I guess then we should jump to the book because I think it also has to do with part of the book. I felt like the book was very lackluster.
Hmm.
They kept starting stories and not finishing them, like the whole Selena Gomez thing. Like I thought, what was is that part of the reason why Shelby and Raylan are fighting? Did they have something going on?
Hmm.
Also, it was weird to me that the whole premise is supposed to be that Shelby had an affair with Raylan's boyfriend and he cheated on her, and that's why they're not friends anymore. But then, like, they were literally friends as soon as she got back to school, like instantly. Maybe like
I
it took a
almost
day.
I almost feel like they didn't need that storyline of her cheating with Lee.
Well, yeah, because that's not even why
The
Shelby leaves
focus.
school. Like,
And like,
I think it was supposed to just be there to create more tension between Shelby and Raylan as to
yeah.
why, like, Shelby did not tell Raylan what was going on.
But their like makeup scene, like we were talking about this as two like because they were best friends, so we were talking about it as two best friends. If that occurred, we'd be screaming at each other and we probably wouldn't talk again. Because that's
I don't
such a
know if I could forgive
betrayal.
you for that. I
Yeah,
don't know if
that's
I
such a
could.
betrayal. Like there's
And
no way.
and also, even the way they made up was just so unrealistic. They had this whole like 3 minute long part where the two of them just can't stop hysterically laughing.
It was so strange. It was, and like you could tell they were forcing themselves to laugh almost. So
Mhm.
it made it like even more strange.
The acting looked fake. Like,
Yeah.
and you could tell, like I could feel behind their eyes, like even they didn't understand why the characters were laughing then.
Yeah, it was very strange. And it went on way too long.
Way too long. Also, my issue with the book is that they kept touching upon little things and never exploring it more. Like, obviously, it was hinted that the teacher's next prey was going to be Beth.
Yeah.
And they did have one scene where he like consoles in her a little bit. But I
Mm.
almost wanted him to full on try to
Do
do
something.
something. Like I want to see that scene, or I would have also loved there to be some flashback scenes, which I think would have made the show more interesting,
Yeah.
where you see the teacher how he started approaching Shelby, and that way the audience could kind of compare and contrast and figure out for themselves, like, oh, he's gonna try to do this to Beth. Um, Also, like, what was the point of the storyline between Mason and Nell? Like having a crush on each other. That
It
was spoken about
it didn't
once.
make sense. Going back with the flashbacks, I think
Hmm.
that would have been very important for the story because like yeah, you get that the teacher is creepy, but at the same time, I didn't see the development of the creep. Um,
Never.
I would have, even if you don't have to have them fully making out, you could black out when it's about to happen, but have a scene of them sitting in the car and him like awkwardly, like maybe touching her leg and like build it up. And you could have her, even if you do like a projection of it or something, if she's like sitting front stage and just talking about it, having a monologue about the first time that they took that step into that relationship and fully like had sex.
Hmm.
Like, and just have her like staring out and just like almost like a PTSD moment. I think that would have been
Stronger.
like, yeah,
You know,
very much
I
stronger.
we spoke about this too. I feel like there needed to be an act two. Like if they did not want to do flashbacks in act one, because
Yeah,
they wanted the reveal to be like, oh my God, because there's a scene where Shelby starts and him start screaming at each other in class. She's kind of acting out while they're talking about the Crucible, and that's when she starts kind of comparing John Proctor as the villain, saying he tried to pursue Abigail when she was a child, that kind of stuff.
yeah,
And that's how it relates back to the title of the show. And he's trying to get her to stop, and she was like, "Oh, you didn't say that 6 months ago when you had me, you know."
yeah.
And then the whole audience at the same time was like, like obviously Danya wanted this big reveal, shocking moment, which is why it was
Hmm.
directed like that. But if they could have had that, that would have been the perfect spot for an intermission. People could be freaking out all intermission, and then Act Two could open up with a flashback of when it started. I just wanted something more.
And I will say, I wanted her to show more, like in the beginning scenes when she comes, of being like uncomfortable around him. I
Mm,
wanted more because it didn't fully make sense to me. Like, I
mm-mm,
understand that you're coming back and you're trying to forget, but if you're coming into a school setting with your abuser, you would show some inclination of some uncomfortableness and like scaredness a little bit so that it builds up to the big reveal of it. I felt like she was just
she's
kind of, she was
fine.
fine. And I wanted, like, looking back when you find out that that occurred, I was like, huh, she didn't show any inclinations. Like even like subtle things that we love subtle things. I mean, we talk about it with The Outsiders and like Johnny when Josh plays Johnny and how
Hmm.
he'll be talking to Dad and he's all tough and then he'll go to like the corner and kind of go back and into himself because he's scared and he's actually like that a shy kind of kid. But
Hmm.
her, I felt like she just was very like obstinate almost and just instead of like showing like subtle signs that this was occurring, I wanted more build up to it, not just like,
I
okay,
agree.
there's no build up, but now here's a shocking factor.
It came
Like,
out of left field. Like, there's a scene in the show where Beth and the teacher are in the classroom, just the two of themselves, and he's letting her do some reading in the classroom, and they start talking about the Billie Eilish song Green Light and how it relates to the Great Gatsby. And all of a sudden Shelby walks into the room because she's supposed to be tutored by Beth, and she's like, we have to go to the library. You don't see any awkward tension between her and the teacher. It's literally just the three of them in this
yeah,
classroom. Like it's literally the predator
mm,
and both of his preys. And
yeah,
not a single awkward tension. Beth's like, oh, can we just work in here instead? And Shelby's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Wouldn't you, like,
I'd be
wouldn't
like,
you
no.
yeah, like shouldn't she feel uncomfortable being alone in a classroom with him? Like,
But I also feel like towards the end, the things he was saying was creepy. But in the in that scene specifically, they should have added more creep. Because I just was like, oh, he's just a caring teacher. Like he's not going too far. Like
well,
I
see, I
wanted,
think I think that's why they didn't go far those because I think Danielle wanted that big moment when Shelby Blake like blows up.
yeah,
She wanted the audience to be shocked, which she got.
yeah,
But I think then they should have. It almost would have been cool to see like that same scene, like in
mm,
like maybe there was like the version from Beth's mind, and then like now you have the
yeah,
version from his mind, like
yeah.
in the second act or something. Like I think there were more creative ways to explore the story of the show. And you kept saying it the other night that this is a story we've seen over and over again. Like it's not a new story. The teacher just, being the villain and abusing the children
Yeah,
sexually. Like we hear that story all the time.
I think, I don't know. I guess I could say it. I think that's what bothers me a little bit the most is that I feel like there's a bunch of new shows, there's a bunch of new plays where it's the same rhetoric. And I'm not saying this doesn't occur, but as a teacher personally, it kind of hurts a little bit because I hate that it's constantly being shown and people are afraid to send their kids to schools because they think this is going to happen because they keep seeing it everywhere. Like, of
Yeah.
course it happens. Of course there's bad teachers out there, but it kind of hurts to think that, you know, I became a teacher because I love doing this. I love being that influence. I love seeing young minds work and seeing
Hmm.
them build on, ideas and their knowledge and seeing them grow. And that's why I went into teaching. And I just don't like the fact that maybe people don't want to send their children to public school because they keep seeing this rhetoric over and over again. That's
But
just
at
a
the same time,
personal.
no, I agree with it 100%. It's just like it's hard because at the same time, you also need to educate your kids that this could happen. Like it did happen in my high school. I think I may have told you. Like I found out years after I graduated, it came out in the news that the dean of my high school, um, he sexually abused like two girls, one in my grade and one in the grade above me. The one in the grade above me, they apparently had a very long like relationship, and the guy was married, had a kid, the whole
Yeah.
thing. Supposedly, what came out in the news is that he like abused her and like got her pregnant, and like he paid for her to get an abortion or something. It was like a whole thing. And then there was this other girl in my grade that he like tried things with, but I don't think it went on too long. But, it does happen. So at the same time, it's like you need to educate your
I'm not
children to be
saying it
aware of the
doesn't
warning
happen.
signs. No, I
Not
know
saying it
that.
doesn't
No, I
happen. It's
know.
just frustrating to me because, yeah, it's once in a while this occurs, but why is it every other thing that it is? But
Mm,
that's just my opinion. That's me as a loving teacher
well,
and
yeah,
get so frustrated that this is the stigma on teachers lately. When we work our butts off every day and
true.
get paid like SHIT, but we do it for
Yeah.
the love of teaching. So
Well,
that's just
see,
me being personal, and I guess we can move on from there.
I think Danya did try to show that side of teaching too, though, with the character of Miss Gallagher and how she like
Yeah,
defended the students and called out um Mr. Smith on how like she knows that when she was in college he did some of the like again some like of these predatory things with some of her friends and she was,
yeah,
years younger. So I feel like that was Danya trying to do that, but I feel like they could have deep dived into the good side of teaching more in the show. Like I would have liked even more like at like background as to why Miss Gallagher, like why you should appreciate teachers like that. Like she kind of got thrown
yeah.
in as a side character, but I
Like I
think I would have liked
almost
her to be more prominent.
they should have like removed him. Like he shouldn't have come back into the classroom. Like I understand you
Yeah.
wanted the big like them doing the project, but I would have liked the conclusion to be he was removed because that's what happens. You get removed. Like there's no way you're gonna
Yeah.
be in the classroom with a child who's accusing you of X, Y, and Z. Like
Well,
even like
yeah.
if you have like I've worked with teachers who've gotten fired because they were accused of like just like mismanaging or
Mm,
like not abu like sexual abuse, but like behavioral abuse, and they were not allowed to come back. So there's no way that teachers who are accused of this, even if you're just accused and they don't find it, like even like the teacher I worked with, they didn't actually find it, but she was removed. Like she was sent
yeah.
to a completely different school and was not allowed, that student is not allowed in her class again.
It wasn't
Um,
realistic at all.
I think that would have been powerful. And that's what actually happens. Like, that's what frustrates me is there's no way this man would be allowed near her. Like, no matter what, even if they didn't find evidence, there's no way. He would have been sent to a different school, at least.
Also, how would they have no evidence? Because apparently the whole point was that they were texting for a long time and stuff. Like, where's all the text? Like, I don't believe that there would be no evidence.
I think it's because they wanted him back into the final scene where they do the Crucible
Yeah,
reenactment. But like that's not even to me that was so unnecessary. Like I didn't
yeah.
feel like that was a plot that needed. Like I almost feel like have him removed, have the what's her Miss Gallagher come in
Hmm.
and have her be the new teacher and express to the kids the dangers of X, Y, and Z and when to say something.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that would have been more revolutionary than what they did, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I feel like they were so focused on this whole Me Too movement, which is important, but I think they were so focused on that, focused on like feminism, and they were so focused on showing him as a predator and all that stuff and female empowerment. The Shelby and Raylan do this dance at the end, and they're gonna make him feel like, SHIT and all that stuff, that they really like lost focus of like what was important in these
Yeah,
types of situations.
yeah, I
It
agree.
just it just felt very unfocused. It felt very all over the place at the end of the day to me.
Like too many
And
like lines like this. I'm doing like squiggly lines.
yeah,
They never
it was
complete
too
a
many
circle.
storylines, too many storylines. And again, like you said, like they should have shown both the good and the bad sides of teaching. Like I just felt like, and this kind of goes back to directing too. I felt like Danya kept trying to touch on things, but they never went deep dive into it.
Yeah,
They were trying to fit too much in to a one act play.
yeah.
And the last time I felt like this with the show was Jagged Little Pill. I felt like
I
they were
didn't see
trying to
that.
be, I know. I remember we talked about it a little bit. They were trying to be very woke and they were trying to
Okay.
touch on all these little storylines at one time. Make sure you say this, make sure you say this, but nothing was ever deep dived. And I think this was the same as that. I think it just missed the boat for me.
Yeah, I think if it was two acts, I think. I think it would have been, and they expanded upon. I don't know, like,
There were funny parts. You know, I had a
yeah,
few
like we
really good
laughed.
chuckles. Like it's not a bad book by any
No.
means. It just I thought it was lackluster, and I think it's the book writers combined with how Danya directed it, to be honest. I think there could have been more like wow moments.
Yeah, and I almost feel like the teacher too during that scene where they're acting out the dance, I feel like he wasn't like freaking out enough for me, if that makes
No.
sense.
Well, and that's the thing, like there's only one moment he got up and then Miss Gallagher walks in front of him and stops him because she's supposed to be, you know, the leader
Yeah.
now, not him. But still, it's just and you know what, the one other thing that I want to mention is that I felt like they did not deep dive into the Crucible enough. If the whole point of your show and all your advertising is Crucible related,
Yep.
it's literally called John Proctor is the villain. Explain it more. Go more
Hmm.
into detail about the Crucible. Like they read a couple scenes and you know talked about it a little bit, but like I'm sure there's people in the audience who maybe never read it, and I felt like they
Yeah.
needed to go deeper into it,
It would have been cool
understood it. Yeah,
to kind of compare him to John Proctor a little bit more.
yeah. I think and that should have been a big discussion in the show. I felt like I mean obviously that's the point of the title is that they were saying that he's John Proctor, but
Yeah.
and I guess
But
Ivy's dad
why?
also because Ivy's dad also
But
had a
yeah,
whole
that
scandal.
storyline too. I would have liked to see Ivy's dad a little bit
Hmm.
so I can understand his characterization and why he's such a menace to society.
I agree. So yeah, like I don't know. The Ivy storyline also again got thrown to the side. You never found out how that resolved, like if he came out innocent.
Yeah, no, there was nothing.
So I guess we spoke about a lot of things at one time, which probably could give ratings for a few things now.
Yeah,
Um, so what would you rate the book?
3.
3. I would give it, I think, a 4.
Hmm. Makes sense.
Directing, I'm gonna give it, I think, a 5. I don't love it. I don't horrendously hate it. I think she did a goodish job, but like with
Like
the
in the
book.
middle.
Yeah, but I think it could have been better.
Okay, I'm gonna give it 5 too.
Acting and pacing. We did talk a little bit about acting and
Yeah,
stuff
we did.
already. For me, I think acting wise, well, casting wise, I didn't have any issues with casting. I thought everyone made sense for their parts. The only thing I would have liked is I would have liked Lee, I think, to be a little more like tough guy, bad boyish.
Like blonde
Yeah.
football player.
The only casting that I personally had an issue with was the casting for Mr. Smith,
I was
who
waiting
is
for you to say it
played.
with you.
So he's played by Gabriel Ebert, who is a phenomenal actor. I remember seeing him in Matilda. Like he's phenomenal.
Hmm.
But and he's also Danya Taymor's husband, which is it's a fun fact. I think that's why he probably was casted. But they make they make a whole thing in the show about how all the girls fantasize over him. They try to guess what his you know what size is and talk about his foot size like
Yeah.
teenage girls do. And I'm sorry, I wanted a teacher where I really could be I felt like I needed a teacher where like everyone in the audience would have the hots for him too to understand why these girls are talking about him.
Yes.
And I think
Yes.
I mean he's an attractive man, but like would I drool? No. And I don't believe that all these high school girls would have a crush on him. I'm sorry.
Well, like we compared it to Pretty Little Liars, Ezra. Like
Yeah.
he like drool worthy. He to me like and again I guess it's going back to like Heather's too. Like it made sense why Arya was so attracted to him.
Hmm.
For me, I was not attracted to Mr. Smith
No, I
in the
wasn't
way
either.
that was probably needed to kind of not like it's not making it okay. Like it's not okay at all.
No.
Like that's not what we're saying. Like teachers should not be doing that. But you want to be like All right, he's hot as hell. Okay.
Well, not because it has nothing to do with the predatory part. It has more so to do, I want to understand why the girls in high school, this group of girls, why they all have a crush on him.
Yeah,
I said to Skylar yesterday, I was like, if we
this
could
was
cast
great.
anyone, who would we cast in that role? I would cast Kyle Selig
I agree.
because
That was
he
such
is,
a good idea.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Because he's very good looking. He's very attractive, but he also has that like innocence and nice guy look to him where you believe Mr. Smith is a church man with a family and a daughter, a baby on the way. And, you
Yeah.
would believe that I feel like he could play both. Like ooh, I'm gonna like what's the word?
Schmooze you.
Manipulate and yeah, schmooze these young
Is that a
girls.
word? I made
I
that
don't
word up,
know.
maybe.
We could use it. We could use
I
it.
like it
I'm
though.
gonna schmooze is a real
Schmooze.
word. I just don't know if it fits here. But like I feel like you could believe that he would put these moves on a young girl while also
Yeah.
like having this nice guy persona.
He would be excellent.
Cast him.
Excellent.
Cast Grant Gustin.
Him too.
Hmm.
Yes. They would be
Hmm.
great. They would be
Hmm.
great.
So
Mm.
that's just my little thought. I
I
mean, I
and I
thought he did
agree.
a good job, but
Yeah.
I didn't believe that part. So for casting, I mean, everyone else, like, I thought the kids were fine. Sadie was good at Shelby. I thought she had
N-
good emotion, but, she did the best she could with the book, but she's a good actress.
Yeah. I don't think the thing is like we didn't leave being like revolutionized, if that makes sense.
No, I don't think my life was changed at all.
No.
Like, it was just a
Not
show that
like
I think
it
we're
just
going to
sounds.
forget about in a few years.
Yeah, which is sad to me.
I didn't expect it. So, for casting, I'm going to give it a 6.
Hmm. That's what I was leaning towards too. Like a 5 or a 6. I'm gonna say
Okay.
6 too. We'll do 6.
Acting pacing, I'm going to give it a 6 again.
I did
Some
5.
5. Some of the acting really just felt like unrealistic to me. Like that
Like
whole
trying too
scene.
hard.
Yeah. Things were being pushed. I don't know.
That's right.
The last category we have is choreography, which obviously it's a play. There wasn't a lot, but they did have at the end of the show that entire number where Raylan and Shelby are doing an interpretive dance, pretending to be Abigail and um John Proctor's wife. I can't remember her name all of a
Elizabeth?
sudden. I think Elizabeth or
Elizabeth?
Olivia, something like that. But
I think it's
they're supposed to
Elizabeth.
be
Yeah.
them. And I don't know. The
It went on for
choreography,
too long. It's Elizabeth,
I
yeah.
I agree. It was too long. The choreography didn't wow me. They're supposed to have all these moments where they're like a shark and they're biting his head off. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna have a dance like that in a Broadway show, make it like wow. Like I wanted to be blown away by that part.
It went for the whole song, right?
Yeah, it went like literally the whole song.
Which I thought was kind of like a little too much, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, it wasn't wild. I think like again, like I would have liked a different ending.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't wowed by the ending. I wanted more. I just like
Yeah,
overall like I don't know. I was disappointed by it overall. Wait, so what do you rate choreography?
like a 3. Is that mean? That's mean.
No, I'm giving it a
Whatever.
2, so I gotta give it a 2. I really wasn't wowed by it. I felt, I don't know, the whole show to me just lackluster. I thought it was funny. I mean, there were some cute moments. I was getting annoyed at all the pushing of the Gen Z talk. I was getting annoyed at all the Taylor Swift references. Like,
That was getting me twisted. Thick and
I think you
twisted
should talk about that while I add up our totals. I want you to ramble about that.
about Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift and
Okay.
all the Gen Z references.
Okay. So this might be just me being me. Not a big Taylor Swift fan. I'll put it out there. Don't hate me. You can kind of probably tell by my music, but I'm also like very much over her in everything. And I feel like
Mhm.
she's being pushed at everything. Like you can't, if you're watching football, she's on your screen. If you're watching commercials, she's in the commercial. If you're at a store, they're playing her music. I feel like her music is it's all right, but is it like crazy? No. And I'm
Mm-mm.
over everybody having to make references to her music or to her to feel like you're okay in society.
I agree. I'm over it. Again, it's too hyped. She's too hyped up the same way the show felt hyped up to me.
Yeah, like I
I
feel
don't
like it's
know.
probably gonna win Tonys. And again, we haven't seen all the plays. Like we have to see Oh Mary. But I worry that this is gonna dominate the Tonys.
I think it's going to. I have a weird inkling that it's going to. It's gonna have the same hype like Outsiders did. Like I think it's gonna. I mean, we see it at the stage door already. It's like the same.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna dominate at the Tonys. Sadie Sink may have a chance of winning for featured, best actress in a play, but I don't know. I mean,
We will see.
we'll see what happens. So I have our ratings.
Hmm.
Get drum roll, please. You've rated it a 4.5 out of 10, and I've given it a 4.75 out of 10, which is higher than I thought. I thought we were
That
going to be
makes
closer to
sense.
the threes.
That makes
But
sense though.
yeah, I mean, I think we like this better than we liked last 5 years. And last 5 years we were in the threes. So I
That
guess it
was
makes sense.
disappointing. That was disappointing.
Yeah. It just, I'm sorry if you guys all loved it and if you've seen the show already. It just wasn't our personal cup of tea, but I would love to hear what everyone thinks about it and like why you guys loved it. Maybe we missed things.
Yeah, definitely. Like, we're always open for discussions. Our DMs are open on TikTok or Instagram, especially if you have any thoughts that you want us to know.
Hmm.
We're always down for a good chat. Um, but yeah, I think it's important to know, we do have like personal factors coming into the play, so that could influence us a little bit, in what we took home with it.
Yeah.
Um, but I think overall, I feel like when we go to theater, our lives, if we love something, we literally look at each other and say, "Oh my God, I'm changed." Like we did last night at Hades Town. We're like, "Oh my God, like our lives are changed." Or like Outsiders, like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, this is why we love live theater." And
Hmm.
we left there, like I know I was in like a very foul mood,
Hmm.
like very foul mood. And I couldn't
Yeah.
like snap out of it. I was like so, I think like overstimulated, over just like very like felt very like overwhelmed
I think we
leaving.
both were just ready to get home.
Yeah, which it's not like us. We like last night after Hades Town, we drove around for a little bit before heading home. Like we definitely like usually like wanna be in the city, like
Look at
exploring, but
stage
like
doors, like
yeah, like Tuesday, we were both like, yeah, I'm like so like I don't know, just
I
like
was over it.
yeah, like our moods were very affected. And we don't like, I guess we don't really like that. Like we like Hades Town, I cried during, but I didn't feel like that foul
No,
after.
we left happy. We had a great stage door experience. Like
Yeah,
we were in a good mood. I did not feel that same joy from this show. And it's not for everyone, and that's really what it comes down to.
yeah,
Um, so I guess guys, that's really it for this week. We're gonna manifest, but before we do that, once again, like always, please follow us on social media. Once again, it's at Love Letters to BUA with one Y on TikTok and at Love Letters to BUA with two Ys on Instagram. Why? Because one Y wasn't available. And also, like always, you can reach us for business inquiries at loveletterstobroadway@gmail.com. Once again, it's at loveletterstobroadway@gmail.com. I don't sleep, Skylar does. You'll get her at 5 a.m. and while I'm actually, sleeping a little bit. And also it's not even just for business inquiries. If you guys ever have something you want to request for the podcast, like shoot us an email. I'd love to hear
yeah,
from
that
you.
too.
Even some feedback, some review, like shoot it
Yeah,
over. Uh,
email, Instagram, whatever.
TikTok us, message us.
Yeah.
Um, manifestations for this week. This manifestation popped up into my head that I'm gonna manifest is
Hmm.
that Outsiders has a lottery open for this week and that we're gonna win it for Friday night.
Okay, because you know what I was feeling? I feel like we're gonna win Dead Outlaw on Wednesday.
I have a weird feeling too.
Yeah, like I don't know. Andrew Duran keeps popping up on everything, and I'm like, huh, is this a
I, I
sign?
I have a weird feeling we're going to Dead Outlaw this week, but I don't know. I just had a weird feeling about Friday Outsiders
And I agree with
specifically.
that. So I agree with that because I feel Friday too for Outsiders. So we are gonna go see Dead Outlaw at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. What day is it?
Is it a 7 p.m. show? Let's double check. Let's double check for specifics.
Where's today ticks? Here we go.
Wednesday is a 7, you're correct.
Oh, cool. 7 p.m. Dead Outlaw, and then Friday, that's a 7 too, right?
I believe so. I'm double checking. To be specific, 7 p.m.
So we will be seeing The Outsiders Friday at 7 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, those are my big manifestations for the week. I feel Wednesday, Friday, but you never know. Another day could pop up.
Yeah. But
We'll
that
see.
feels right. That feels right.
I just have a weird feeling about Friday. I don't know. Oh, Tuesday's the 13th, but Tuesday we can't do. So,
Yeah.
but maybe we'll win on Tuesday the 13th for Dead Outlaw on Wednesday the 14th.
It's my brother's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy
Okay.
birthday, shout out.
Shout out.
Okay, guys, I think
I
that's
gotta
it
send
for
that to
this
him.
week.
Remind me.
Flip it, shout out.
Yeah, birthday. Happy birthday, James.
Okay, guys, have a great week.
Thanks for listening to us yap for like 2 hours.
Yeah, this is a long
Bye.
episode. I'm sorry. Bye.
Bye.